All right, we are logged into Facebook on this one.
I changed it to high latency mode. It says it's for streaming with
Terrible internet connection.
slow internet.
All right, well, that's us.
So we'll see if that ruins things or makes it better because we're still on like 480. I wonder if we could bump up to 720 again.
All right, well, we get to, got a head ordered for the Freightliner. So we're going to tear into that this weekend, see if we can get a new head and head gasket on the Freightliner. So
Did you get one ordered? Or?
never, yep, be in tomorrow. So exciting times. We'll head down to Scott Angel's shop, Angel Enterprises, I believe. So we're gonna take the Freightliner down and put it in Scott's shop.
Test on it to see if it's that back cylinder, or
No, we'll double check and make sure it's one of the back two cylinders that's leaking. So, but all right, I see that my buddy Josh is online as well. So, good evening to you, Josh and Dwayne. Real quick, want to give a huge shout out to Maxxis Tires and Raceline Wheels. Raceline does have a 25% off sale going on right now. So if you guys are interested in a great deal on some beautiful wheels, make sure you hit them up. Huge shout out to Laser Nut for all of their support of the 2024 We Rock season, and Brannick Motorsports for our national championship title sponsor. Crown Automotive, Spider Tracks Off-Road, PCI Race Radios, and Tire Right. So huge shout out to all of our marketing partners, and thank you guys so much for making We Rock possible. So jumping right into the first question that Dwayne's already jumped online and asked is any update on the Pennsylvania event. We did go out there. We toured a couple of places, and I put together a proposal, and I've sent that out, and I've tried to follow up with that, and I have not heard anything back. So I will follow up again with that this week, Dwayne, and I know Charlie and definitely all you guys up there in the northeast are really trying to get that information, and we'll get that to you as soon as possible. We have a plan A and a plan B at this point. We technically have a plan C. It's not one that I want to go to, but A and B I think will be pretty good. So we will get some information out to you guys as soon as possible on that one. But we're definitely looking still to stay in that Pennsylvania location. We just have to really get that finalized for you guys. So we'll do that as soon as possible. All right, Cedar City is coming up, so we're just a couple weeks away. April 27th and 28th at the Three Peaks off-road area. So Iron County, they're just outside of Cedar City. Super great event. I know that we've been out there announcing for Grand Nationals.
That was the last time I was there.
Yep.
So it was in 2020. So I'm excited to get back to some corn dogs and some good action out there in Cedar City.
Yeah. The food in Cedar is probably the best out of anywhere that we go. So I am definitely looking forward to partaking in as much food in Cedar City as we can. So that will be a lot of fun. We'll definitely have the delicious corn dogs. TNA Wieners are there, and we've got another food vendor coming as well. If you guys are interested in setting up a vendor space, we have those available. We're hoping that we can get some of that area out front of the comp area smoothed out a little bit, so we can get more big trucks and trailers in there for vendor space as well. So if you guys are interested in displaying for as a vendor at the Cedar City event, hit us up and let us know. Also, So it is held in the Three Peaks campground. So there are a lot of really cool campsites in there. Most of the competitors end up kind of out front of the pavilion once you come up and across from the restrooms, kind of in that area. But on the back side of that, that continues around, and there is a ton of flat space, really cool rock formations that you can get into and set up some really cool camps. So if you guys are interested in doing that, it is $15 a night or $25 for the weekend. So you can get those when you buy your tickets online. So both spectator tickets are available, camping is available online, and your registration for driver and team registration is available for Cedar City online. I don't know, it's going to be a great event. It's always such a cool place. We're definitely going to be looking at maybe a little bit different area than what we've used before. Caleb's first time there, so it's
First time setting courses.
Well, first time setting courses there, so it'll be very exciting to see what he comes up with as well. So
another thing, I think we should get some of those hero card rule things
yes,
printed out for
Yep.
Cedar City. We've had them drawn up.
I know Skip
But,
Scott helped us with Chiquita Racing put together some information. We made some copies for Baghdad that we handed out, and people really, really liked those. So, yeah, I will put that on my list to make sure that we get that emailed over to have those posters made as well. So, yeah, good call on that. Also, if you are interested in getting into the event for free, getting an event shirt, and free food for both days, we would love to have you come and volunteer for the Cedar City event as well. Send us an email, message, however, carrier pigeon, whatever works, and we will get you the VIP passes to get in line or get into the event for free as well, and get you all the information that you can start looking at for learning to be a judge if you've never done it before. Our goal is to try and pair you with a judge that has done it, so that we can kind of head that off. Also, so Caleb and I will both be marshals in Cedar City. I'm hoping, I meant to call Woody. I don't know if he's on yet or not, but Woody, if you are on, I expect a call from me. I'm really hoping that you can run our live feed again. That would be amazing. Just a great job that you did in Baghdad. And that'll free Caleb and I up to kind of oversee the scoring a little bit more for Cedar. So, all right. Well, I would say with that, talking about scoring, we can kind of jump into what we were going to talk about tonight was kind of the rules. So, also
on the scoring, we can do a little bit more on the scoring app.
Yes.
So hopefully we can, I know in Texas with bad cell service and the Starlink not reaching very far, it was pretty tricky to use the scoring app. But hopefully Cedar City, we can start pushing that more, because I think that's a great way to help judges in the math and a great way to help teams and seeing live scoring how they need to do on their next course or how one of their competitors did on an earlier course. That'll help make that a little easier to see for the teams, and it'll hopefully engage more spectators. And like if you're rooting for Dave Wong, you can pull it up on the website and be like, hey, he just did a perfect negative 30 on a course, and be able to follow along with how they're doing there. So hopefully we can start kind of pushing that more and advertising that it's available. I think, is it on the We Rock website as a
it is not a direct link on there, just because we haven't been able to really use it well. So as soon as we start to see that we're getting good results from the scores being entered, we'll try and get that information out to you guys a little bit better. We'll get a big banner on the website as well, so you can click on that and have up-to-date scoring. So that is going to be really, really cool. We put a lot of time and effort into that over the off season and money to try and improve correct scoring. And so we're really looking forward to make sure that everybody's using that. And I think that will really help because if you put in more than 40 points in the app, it automatically points you out.
Yeah.
So even if you've got your bonus points or anything else, once you point out, it'll just give you that 40 points, and it'll do the math from there.
Yeah, all the math, everything is done on the app. So it's really like, as long as the judge has stuff marked, reverses, cones, progressions, it'll do all of it. And it'll give you a score that will update to the live feed or to the live scoring, and then also you'll have the correct score with what's written down.
Yeah, and that is I know you misspoke there, but that is what our goal is to be able to pull that that live scoring up in the live feed so that you guys can see that if you're following along on the YouTube or Facebook. So we're working on trying to figure that out. There's some information that looks like it'll allow us to share our computer screen so that we can run our marketing partner ads and also the live scoring. So we've been working really hard on that in the off season. It hasn't really paid off yet, but we're really excited to just keep plugging away at it, and I think we'll get something really good.
That we did in Texas is we put a camera up on top of the utility trailer, and then we fed the microphones from the PA system that's on site into the camera, so that you pulled live commentary that everyone is hearing at the event site into the live feed. So that helped kind of give the live feed that we have now using the cameras. It helps bring commentary to it instead of just seeing what's going on, seeing cars go by. And then also hopefully we can add more advertisement stuff with sponsors, and help give it even like an ad break, which it doesn't sound very fun, but that helps bring the live feed together, where if you got nothing going on, you can run something. That way there's something at least going on in the live feed.
Yeah, and it would be super cool where we can run maybe some pre-recorded driver interviews, some things talking about the teams, who your sponsors are, and try and get all of that integrated. We put a lot of effort into that into Texas, and it pulled us away from doing some other things that we really needed to be on top of. It's a whole production on itself, and we're trying to streamline it to minimize our effort into it. But it's just a lot of work to get to where we want to be.
It takes one person 100% of their time to operate the live feed, and with limited
Wi-Fi, it was just the Wi-Fi was terrible in Texas. I mean, it's always been if you have AT&T down there, it's great. Anything else, you barely can get a text message in or out. So, and for some reason, I could not get very far away from our router with the Starlink.
Well, using a phone as a live feed, you can't really get too far away from the Starlink. These cameras work better. They've got some kind of Wi-Fi thing built in that I think helps with it. But with using a handheld phone connected to the live feed, it doesn't like being very far from the router.
Yeah. So that was a little bit of a struggle as well, trying to really bring that production level up for you guys to be able to watch at home. So we're going to keep working on that, and hopefully every event it just gets a little bit better and better as we go. So we're going to have some good help. I'm pretty certain in Cedar. I know we've got a handful of friends from Kansas City that are coming out. Corey Neal and Dave Fugit. If you guys are on the live feed, thank you so much for coming out and spending your vacation time to help us at We Rock. So thank you guys for doing that as well.
We want to get back to where we kind of started with the rules.
Yeah. So I guess tell us a little bit about what the situation was in Texas, and it was one of those things that I just didn't have a clear something in the rule book that I could, bounce back to and say, this is exactly what the rule says. So
Yeah, so what happened in Texas with the unlimited teams running the 5 gate on course A1, I think it was day 2, they had the 5 gate, they had to drive through up the 5 gate and then immediately come back down the rock wall right next to the 5 gate, in between the 5 gate and the two gate.
mm-hmm.
And they had to back in between it, come down the wall, and then out to the finish. So with course flow, how it's drawn on the map, they have to go up through gate 5 and in between gate 5 and gate 2. Where the question arose was a team wanted to go through the gate and then immediately right back through the 5 gate. But once you get progression and are through that gate 5, it becomes a closed gate. And if you go back in between those cones, it is a 10-point penalty on the course flow. But the question was how far, like if they still hit the cone, if they wanted to run over the cone on the 5 gate.
Yeah, I don't think anybody, there wasn't a single team that cleared the 5 gate on that course without running over the cone. It was just the way it washed you down, and there wasn't a way to get around it. So they were going to take the cone anyways, because that's just what was going to happen.
So then they wanted
So the question was, how far do you have to get around that cone
to be in between your 5 and your 2
right
gate?
That way you don't get your 10-point penalty for breaking the plane
of a gate,
breaking the plane of a gate, and definitely if you get progression on a gate out of order. So if they would have pulled up through there and they backed through, they would have got their 10-point penalty. And if they got progression on it, got 3 tires through, then at that point, it would have been a DQ for course flow.
We want to go to the rule book real quick. Let's just go ahead and read how it is in the rule book, and then we'll talk about how we called it in Texas, and the reason we called it like that.
Let me find it here. There we go. Okay, so the rules that are currently on the website have the previous rules where what we changed for
we
not
changed
having
from 2022 to 23.
Right. So it's been that way for a while now, but so it says all gates must be taken in the order intended by the designer. To ease navigation, all intermediate gates will be marked in order from start to finish.
So there's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gate. You have to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are your intermediate gates, and they have to be run in that order.
Right. So the vehicle may only break the plane of the gate being attempted in the correct order. So very simple.
I'd like to jump back just a little bit. There is a bolded section that says, while on course, understanding course flow is solely the responsibility of the team. That's where we had some issues where a team asked the judge, hey, can we do this? And the judge said, yeah, sure, it looks great. And then the judge didn't know course flow, and that's where it still falls on the team. They would still incur a DQ because it's their job to know course flow. It's not even though you can ask the judge, whatever, it's still your job to check, ask a marshal on site, and then you can go attempt what you're doing. But while you're on course, and even before then, it is your job as the team to know that course flow.
Yeah. And I would say if you have any questions about that, something that's odd, I would double
check the map first.
Well, double check the map first.
And then if you still don't understand it, definitely call a marshal. And we had that in Texas as well with the sportsmen, with not having enough judges, where like a team on the sportsman side, they circled a gate because it got them lined up better. And they called, I think it was actually once they were already done with the course. They had run the course like that at the rest of the time. And then they were like, well, I don't know if we can do that. So they called me over, and it's like, even though everyone thought it was fine to circle a gate like that and drive through there. Uh, per the rules, it's a DQ, and it was their job to know that.
Yep.
So that's where that team got a DQ at that gate.
Yeah. And that's we changed the rule so that when you broke the plane, so there was a difference between a progressed.
The new,
we can read the old rule if we want. So
well, let's just go ahead and jump into the new rule of how it's read now.
Okay. So the way that breaking the plane works now is if you break the plane with any part of the vehicle, and that is the way Rich has always done it is the 2 front dots. So if you're coming from one direction, it will be the nearest 4 dots across the front that basically create a glass, like a glass door that goes across. So if you break the plane of that, you'll get called for a course flow, and that's out of order. You'll get called for a course flow penalty, and that is a 10-point penalty.
The rule reads the vehicle may only break the plane of the gate being attempted in the correct order. So if you're going from gate 1 to gate 2 and you break the plane at gate 2, then you're fine. You're going to the correct gate. If you break the plane on gate 3 when you've only done gate 1, then that's going to be your incorrect gate. So as soon as you break the plane, it's the leading edge of the tire, correct?
Yep.
So any leading edge of your tire that breaks that plane, you'll get a course flow penalty, which is a 10-point penalty, and then you have whatever else you have to then go back and correct your mistake. So nobody's going to tell you that you went in the wrong gate until you broke that plane, and you only get the course flow penalty, and then you have to figure out where you went wrong. Now, if you get progression on the wrong gate, that is where you will still get a DQ.
Correct. Yep. So if you get 3 tires through an incorrect gate and you get progression on it, then that is a DQ at that point. So it's a very tricky thing. And then also the start and finish gates are completely different, because the way that works is a safety issue. So if you break the plane of the start or finish gates, then that's a DQ as well. So I would like to revisit some of this in the off season, see if we can maybe clarify it a little bit more and make it as simple as possible. That was kind of our goal.
It is probably one of our most complicated calls, especially with if the judge doesn't call it right, and then at that point it becomes a DQ because the judge didn't know what to call and the team got progression.
Right. Yeah. Very, very tricky rule to know there. So let's see if there was anything else. So that talks about progression. So if you do not get progression on the gate, so you get only 2 tires through. That's kind of a weird one, because I remember, I want to say it was All Stock Nationals in 2009. We did not get progression on a big drop, and it was I don't know how we're going to get back to the top. So it was I don't know. It was something I learned at that point, what my options were, and how to address that. What we opted to do was put the car in reverse, and I tried to back up to where we could maybe get progression on it, and then the car rolled over while doing that and ended our course anyways. But that is a tricky one. So if you are trying to gate like that, and you only get 2 tires through, you do have the option to just back completely clear of the gate and reattempt it, or you can loop around. As long as you don't circle another gate, you can exit the course and then come back in on that same side to reattempt to try and get progression on there. So very, very tricky. Definitely a lot of complicated rules, but this is definitely probably the most complicated, I think, that we have. So
the other thing, I don't know if we talked about it, you may have mentioned it, the the start and finish gates are different. I've seen it almost every event this year. Somebody goes out the start gate when they're trying to exit the course.
Yeah.
Now, the start and finish gate is a boundary. It is like the Maxxis Pennant. It is a safety boundary. You break the plane with 2 tires.
Break the plane with a tire.
With a tire?
With a tire.
So if you break the plane on any of the start or exit gate out of order, it's a DQ because that is a safety plane and it is part of the boundary of the course. So I've seen teams go out the start gate, they get through gate 4 and they're low on time and they just throw the car out of the start gate and they get a DQ.
Yeah. And we definitely saw that in Texas. I can't remember who it was. Was it Dale maybe?
I think we had it on
I
the
know
pro
that
course.
Dean Benner was the competitor that was standing outside of the course, and whoever the team was that was headed out the start gate, he was able to holler at him and be like, "Don't go this way."
Yeah.
It was.
But
it is one of the hardest calls, and I hate making that call because it's...
Well, they make it all the way through the course. They get their score.
Steve, you've done that.
and then all of a sudden you go out the wrong gate, and it's an immediate 30-point penalty. You get a 30-point and then minus your 10 progression. And, we've seen pro teams do it, and it sucks, but it is part of the safety boundary. You cannot exit out of the wrong gate.
Yeah, and that's just because if there ends up being spectators standing there, we don't want them to be in harm's way. They're expecting you to come out the finish gate, and it's been so much of an issue. I mean, the cones are a different color. When you're in a hurry, you forget which ones are which, but we've labeled them this season as well. So all of the start gates say start on it, and all of the finish gates, I think they say exit.
Say exit. Yep.
Yeah, fewer letters.
Fit better on the code.
Emmett, yeah, exactly. So it's really easy to do. And there's a couple of things. So there's some teams, the whole purpose of that is to try and speed the program up. We really want to push to where, we're not exceeding that 4-hour limit. We want to get teams through.
And really, it would help a lot if the next team that was up, their car was sitting in the start gate.
Yeah.
They need to be in the start gate ready to go so that we're not out here. Because we were Saturday in Texas, we were there until like 5 o'clock.
Yeah. It was a very, very long day.
And it just, you have to keep pushing. And I think Sunday it went a little better because I was like, hey, you just go get there in line. I don't know. I don't care. You need to be on course. Whatever's going on.
So and the reason that doesn't just magically happen is because of some of the teams want you to DQ. I think that's kind of a cheap sportsman thing to do. But it is a legitimate, way to catch a team off guard to where they could DQ a course. So I would prefer that everyone has the same fair advantage to where that's not really an issue. So if the next car is in the start gate ready to go, then there's not a fair or unfair advantage. Everybody has, an easier time just getting out the finish gates. And I think that would really solve a lot of that.
But it's also about moving along, keeping the day moving. I think we need, even if the car is just parked there, just have it there ready. And then as soon as that team's off course, you need to be in the car and ready to go.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we could actually talk about the rule clarification that we had in Texas. So with that, back to
that was the point. The whole point of this shenanigan here.
Yeah, back to that 5 gate. You've got a 5 gate here. You got a 2 gate here. You're trying to back. You have to go in between them. Where does breaking the plane happen? How far
do you need to get around it?
Where is that plane? Yeah. So the way that it ended up being called in Texas was as long as the tire didn't go in between the gate. You could have one tire travel on the dots, but not in between the gate. Because as soon as you went in between the gate, that was where we called it as it broke the plane.
Yeah.
And then it was
Yeah. So
also
as long as your tread patch touches any one of those 4 dots for the cone, we did not call a course flow infraction or anything like that. So that's kind of how we looked at that, and that's how we will look at it for the rest of the season. Is if you are coming through a gate, I don't know if it's a cone that's not on a gate that you're attempting, as long as you touch the 4 dots, you won't be considered for a breaking the plane penalty.
because
So
I've seen teams before where on the way to gate 1 you have to drive by gate 3, and I've seen a team run over the cone on the way there, and so that's where you wouldn't be called on. You would just be called on the cone and not the course flow, because that also makes it an easier call. I think as a judge, you see a run over a cone, it's a cone. You don't have to worry about it also being another 10-point penalty and everything like that. So
yeah, so that's kind of just something that was unique, and we kind of wanted to bring that up and talk about that because it's one of those things where we have hit a cone before on the way through, because we knew on the way back that it would make it easier. So it's just kind of a weird gray area that never really had any clarification to it as far as I knew, at least in the rule book side. So.
But
yeah.
we will, in the off season, we're looking at kind of hoping find a way to make it a little bit clearer and easier call for judges and more fair between teams. So we'll talk more about that in the off season.
Yeah. So and we'll start. We'll kick off some of those discussions on. Josh, you're in Pro Mod. You hit every cone. We'll go through and try and address some of that stuff in the off season. We've got some really good ideas on how to make some of that stuff maybe a little bit clearer, but we definitely want to get your feedback on there and make sure that we're trying to make it as simple as possible for everyone involved. So oh man, what do we got? Well, it is 2 minutes past 7:30. So
I think that kind of covers everything that we were going over. So,
yeah. So one of the things that we were going to work on in the future is probably something called like a Maxxis Tire moment, and maybe we'll just kind of highlight some of the teams, maybe what's going on that week. So if you guys want to reach out to us, or just make sure you tag us in Facebook at We Rock Live, and we'll make sure that we keep tabs on what you guys are working on during the week.
Prep work or practicing.
Yeah. Yep.
That'd be perfect.
We did see that Cody Wagner had his unlimited car out. It's moving under its own power. I know they were planning on doing some practicing before Cedar. Rock Tech Racing, Josh Pat reached out, and he had a super cool story. They were towing their Pro Mod back with their UTV, came across the Mizrax. Golf cart broke down. They were out of tow straps, so they used their jumper cables to hook onto the back of the Pro Mod onto the golf cart, and they drug a broken train of things back to the pits from the courses.
Golf cart going later. It may have just.
I might have just
ran out of juice.
Ran out of something, the go juice, whatever that is in there. So, but yeah, make sure. And Dwayne, if we would love to find a sponsor, somebody that could help out with paying judges, it would be a huge amount. We would probably be looking $4,000 to $5,000 to bring in 4 judges for every event. And that's if we could do it on the cheap, but for 8 or 9 events at $5,000 a piece, we would love to get a sponsor in to help have the same judges at every event, and would really, really make things nice. So we are both interested in anyone that would like to judge in that capacity. If we could, work something out to get you guys out to the events and have you help us in that fashion. And also, if you've got a company or something that you would like to promote here with We Rock, we would love to hear from you guys as well. So definitely, we are 100% on board, and we've been pushing really hard trying to find some extra marketing partners to be able to make that happen. But that is going to be a very expensive endeavor. Just by the time we do even 2 hotel rooms and rental car
and airfare,
airfare, whatever it's going to take, to get 4 judges out to every event. That's kind of our goal. That anything that we can do, that would be super exciting. But George, thank you so much for working on judges there in Cedar City. We are so glad to have you out there. And I think with that, we're running over time a little bit, but definitely hope we didn't bore you too much. The rules are definitely about as much fun as talking about safety stuff, but just wanted to let you guys know something, kind of a gray area that we came across in Texas as well. And that way everyone knows how that's going to be called moving into the future. And we will definitely have those conversations at the drivers meetings. So make sure you guys join us for those before the event as well. All right. Anything else?
I think that'll be good. We'll talk more next Wednesday.
Yep. We will see you guys next Wednesday. Remember, April 27th and 28th, Cedar City. It's coming up here in just a couple of weeks. It's going to be an awesome event. I cannot wait. Thanks to George for helping with getting judges. The air compressor that's running over here as well. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's going to be a really, really good time. So we will see you next Wednesday. As always, a huge shout out to Maxxis Tires, Laser Nut, Cody Wagner, Metal Cloak, Brannick Motorsports, Crown Automotive, Spider Tracks Raceline Wheels, PCI Race Radios, and Tire Right. And once again, make sure you guys jump on that Raceline sale, 25% off going on right now at raceline.com. So, or racelinewheels.com, I believe. So, all right, till next Wednesday, we will see you guys then. Have a great week.